Welcome back. Howdy, y'all. We are back on the F250, and today what we're going to be installing is a coolant filter. So guys, what we have here is just a generic coolant filter kit off of Amazon. We have just the distribution block, our two fittings, ball fittings, so we can turn the coolant on and off so we can change the filter. We have the filter element itself. Our first run, we're going to use this generic filter that they gave with us because it's going to fill up with all of the trash, and we're going to change this one in the first 500 to 1,000 miles of running this kit. And then we have our two lines, one that connects into our degas bottle and the other one that goes back to the heater line. Both will fit and sit everything right over in this area. So what we need to do first is we need to put some thread tape on our ends, get these both hoses threaded in to our block so that we can mount this over here on the it's gonna mount on the intercooler stud over there, so we'll jump to that side when we get to that point. But it's a fairly simple kit to put together. It takes about an hour total from start to finish to put this in the truck. So let's get to it. So what we're gonna do first is locate where each line needs to go. So as our distribution block is going to sit like this in the truck, our first hose, which will go to our degas bottle, which we're going to split the hose right there, and we'll run this I think it runs like that. This one will go into our left side here, and then our main hose that has the T that goes into our heater hose goes in the front. So what we need to do next, wrap these in thread tape. This one has some started and we're not going to use that, so we're going to put new thread tape on there, and we'll thread tape this on, get it on here, then we'll jump to the next hose. So we've added our own thread tape, and if your kit does come with thread tape, I would re-thread tape it. I don't trust other people's thread tape. So now that we have both sides thread taped, we will start working it into, we have the correct side, into our ball valve. And we do this all off the, like not installed in the truck, because these don't have the, like swivel fittings. So they would be almost impossible to put on once you put if you hook all the hoses up first. So that's why we build this first and make sure it's tight, and then we will mount it, and then we'll cut our hoses, everything, and put our filter on, and we should be done. It's a pretty quick thing. So let's get the second hose on, and let's get over to the other side to see where we mount this. So now that we're on this side of the truck, one thing you do have to loosen or remove is your intercooler pipe to your turbo. So you can do it one of two ways. You can either loosen it and move it out of the way, move it up and out of the way, or you can take it off and set it off to the side while you run all this. I'm going to take it off because I need to clean it, and I'll kind of want to touch up this pipe and possibly paint it black while I have it off, but we will see. But we're just gonna pop this hose off real quick, and this will give us access to that back hose that we need to get to. So see you in a second. So where our block ends up mounting is right here on the intercooler stud. So what we do is we remove the intercooler stud bolt, and there is a little bolt hole right back there, as you can see, and this slides in. And what we do is we come down here and we slide that back into place. And you can, if you want to, you can put this back in there to hold your battery cable, and then you just tighten it back down, and it holds our coolant bracket, the filter bracket. So before you do that, this little tab down here, which I forgot, so we're gonna take this back off for a second. So this little tab here fits into this hole on the intercooler bracket, and that keeps it from lifting up or moving in different directions, and really just keeps it extra sturdy. But don't forget that. So now that that's on there, we'll hand tighten it down, and this will be basically done. We just have to jump over and tighten our hoses. Put our hoses on, which is probably the most difficult part of this entire process. So let's get this tight, and I'll see you guys when we jump to the hoses. So we are going to start on our degas bottle side. So this one is fairly easy. This hose routes, I wish it was a little bit longer, but I think we're gonna mount it right in this area here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna splice this hose, and we'll splice this in. We should be good. So now that we have the hose split, we put our T in, and the clamps they provided us in the kit are a little too big. They would take forever, and I don't think they would clamp well, so we had some extra small clamps laying around, so we'll put these on instead. I actually think they're BMW clamps, but clamps are clamps, and they clamp and they work. So let's get this tightened down and teed in. And we have this, just this vice grip on there to prevent any leaking of water. Well, I didn't put the freaking clamp on. Oh, great, Cody. Perfect. Make this weird angle. Okay, let's take that off. Put our clamp on. Let's try this again. There we go. And let's clamp this down, and we'll be done. So now that that hose is done, all we have left is our last hose. In this hose, you gotta think your intercooler pipe runs this way, and we need to tie in underneath it, right in this area there. So our easiest bet is to run it just like that and place it, make sure that gets on there, back on there, but place it right in this area. So we'll cut the pipe, we will splice it just like we did the last pipe, put our clamps on, and put this all back together, and we should be good to go. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna slide that side in that side, and we're gonna slide this one in on that, and we have two clamps on so we don't leak coolant like all over the place, which we are a little bit, but not bad. Once we get these tightened down, we will take the clamps off, and I had to makeshift clamps. I don't have like nice clamps, as you can see. So now that we got those snug down, this one too. We'll get these snug down. So now that we have our T in and tight, we are basically done. What we need to do now is unwrap our filter, and let me adjust you guys over here. There we go, that'll work. So we need to just unwrap our filter, put a little oil on the top of our filter, make sure it's nice and oily. And we're gonna slip our coolant filter into place. And we're gonna tighten it down. We'll get this tight, and then we'll go finish painting up our intercooler pipe, and we'll get everything back together. So, now that everything's back together, and our pipe is painted black, all we have to do is maneuver this pipe back into place, get it down into position, slip it back onto both hoses, and tighten it all down, and we are done. Fairly simple job, guys. Only other thing we need to do is run this thing around the block and make sure that it doesn't leak. Well, everything is back together. Our coolant filter is on. Our ball valves are set to open. All our hoses are together, so all we have to do is now start it, make sure it doesn't leak, run around the block a couple times, check all our fittings, check everything, and then we should be done, guys. But so thank you guys for watching this video. Next thing we're probably going to do to the truck is work on the front grill guard. We need to get that sanded, primed, and ready for the Arizona tan paint. That is our next one. So our grill guard is going to be painted that color, guys, up front. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.